Alright, I'm back again. And I know by now the world knows several times over Elon Musk bought Twitter. I have not said anything on it because I'm really not sure what to feel about it. I'm still not sure, like a week later, or seemingly a week later. Today's been a long week, so uh, there's a lot of conjecture. Let me preface by saying that this has nothing to do with the First Amendment. I've seen people say, finally, Elon Musk is bringing back people's First Amendment rights to Twitter. I've got videos on that where I literally lay out what the First Amendment is and why social media is not First Amendment. I did say, I believe in one of those videos, I did add a little something that I think would is a possibility that I can hit on in this video. But on the one hand, I'm not a fan of censorship, but let me get to the topic. From what I can tell, what he's saying when he's saying free speech is basically he feels like there's a little bit of bias and he's wanting to roll back on the censorship. I'm all for that. I went through the saga for about a month, January 2021, where I was locked out of Facebook. I'm assuming since it started on January 6th, it had something to do with the protests at the Capitol. I didn't actually advocate for it. Did make posts about it saying, oh crap, this is happening, this is getting real. I'm not a fan of this. So I did provide commentary on it and share posts on it, but I was not like, yeah, let's do this. No. Quite the opposite. So yeah, censorship is not something I'm fond of. I've been a part of several groups that have been on Facebook that have been zucked. There's one time I said someone made a comment about burning bridges. You know, the anecdote about how you shouldn't burn bridges. And they're like, I say burn them. I said, and my response was, forget burning bridges. I'm more about just nuking them. Got 10 days because that was a call of violence, talking about an adage, and a well-known adage in my neck of the woods. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of censorship. So that's what he says. At least get back on topic, that's what he says. From what I believe, that's what he's saying he's wanting to do, is just roll back the censorship. At least he's wanting to pare it back to where it's strictly within the realms of what is considered free speech by the United States government. Fair enough. But at no point in time have I actually felt that was his full motive. And I've been trying to wrap my head around it, and I've seen some very interesting conspiracies. I think it's someone referred to Neuralink. I think it is. I'm bad with names. I think they said it's Neuralink, and that I'm not sure, like I said, what that is. But I remember something here about a month or so ago about talking about how people will have chips implanted in their brains to connect with the internet and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So, having access to a social media platform like that is fairly limited because, let's face it, Twitter is fairly limited with the characters and everything else and what you can share. It's not as open and expensive as like Facebook. So when you look at that, the host of data and information there, that's a real possibility. But there's another possibility. There's a few tweets he's made where he talked about how he supported Obama, but how the Democrat Party left him behind, and posts like that. He feels like they've become moved so to the extremes to the point he can no longer support them. Okay, well, I think both sides are doing that a bit. That's kind of how I grew up in a vote Republican or don't vote at all type family, and I don't feel like either party really represents me, truth be told. But so I can understand where he's coming from. And when I mentioned about in the videos, and I may see if I can find that link, because I had a good one with all kinds of links to like Cornell Law. I believe I mentioned something about how social media platforms can set their own terms of service, and it's fine because the First Amendment covers the government restricting free speech, which, by the way, that Ministry of Disinformation or whatever it's called, blatant violation of First Amendment. That's another story. Yeah, that's a complete told another story. But in that particular video, I mentioned a very interesting tidbit. And that was, you would have, if you could prove that the government was basically dictating to these companies that to censor certain groups, especially political groups, political opponents, if you could prove that, then you would have something, a big something. And there's been people make that conjecture, but it's like, okay, great. I'm not discounting it. Kind of believe it myself. But you got to have the proof. And sure, the Biden administration, I'll see if I can find a link, throw it in the description, has said that they are working with the social media platforms to counter fake information. A little on the nose there, but again, you don't have the smoking gun. You have to have like a memo, something along those lines. Email, something along those lines. By taking ownership of Twitter, one of those big social media platforms, he gets access to that data. He gets access to those servers, the memos, everything. Somewhere or another, there is going to be a record of something. Even if they go through trying to scrub things, there will be a record of something somewhere. And when they have it, Elon Musk, he has his personal brand on Twitter, and he has been in Twitter jail a time or two. That could be viewed as a financial impact, since, like I said, he does have his brand there. And allegedly, the SEC has been wanting to limit, at one point in time, was trying to limit his actions on Twitter, probably due to some of the questionable things he's done with crypto. But if you have that access to that information, all of a sudden you can have that proof that you were harmed because the government decided to dictate what you can and cannot say, and it harmed there's going to be an effect to his legitimate completely legitimate financial holdings, because like I said, that's how part of how he does his branding is on Twitter and his tweets. And when you get that, you have grounds for a lawsuit against, well, you can't sue Twitter anymore because you own it, but you would have grounds to sue the federal government for infringement on the First Amendment rights. That's where I'm wondering if he's going. Because even if he don't make complete and total bank on this lawsuit, let's just say hypothetically he don't get jack diddly on this lawsuit. Don't go anywhere. He gets publicity. And you know what? Publicity, you may lose the legal battle, but a certain amount of publicity can win you the war. If he sees people are fighting for him, think about what people would be willing to do investing in his companies, buying his products, using his products like Twitter, which ad revenue, ka-ching. Just something to think about. I'm not going to discredit the Neuralink thing. Very real possibility. He's all about data and he is pursuing that, so very real possibility. It's scary as all get out. But if you think his sole battle is to roll back censorship, no. I think he's got a bit of an axe to grind, and this is a way to sharpen it. Twitter's going to be what he uses to sharpen that axe so he can hurl it at the government or someone. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. Like I said, I'll try and remember to throw a link or two down below. Let me know what you think. Later.